Hello and welcome to the Raising Nourished Girls interview series. I'm your host, Amy Hudgens, founder of the Nourished Girls Project, board certified nutrition consultant, and mom of a preteen daughter. And I'm so excited today to have my guest on, Michelle Wolf. Hi, Michelle, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. Nice. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you for being here. And Michelle is the founder of Empower Her LA. She culminates a unique mix of 25 plus years of personal development, executive coaching, and global marketing experience. Her experience as a coach and marketer qualifies her to lead every day.
Mm,
Wow, I love that. I love that. I'd love to hear more about you, Michelle. And also just want to ground in today that we're going to be talking about connection, community, women supporting women, girls supporting girls, and just lifting each other up. And so that's like the theme today and why I wanted to bring Michelle on to discuss all of those things. But Michelle, tell
mhm.
us more about you and just all of it.
Yeah, well, first of all, like I said, thank you so much for having me today. And I feel so grateful that you saw me on Instagram and that you, going back to the theme around connection, and that you chose to reach out to me. And I think that that is such a blessing for both of us. And my messaging is always around building community, providing inspiration, and also connection. And those are really three of my top core values and how I lead my life every day. So, you really just tapped right into them when you approached me in the first place. So how amazing is that? And you got me. You really got me. Like you saw
Yeah,
me.
I felt that too. I just felt this instant connection and, just everything about your energy and your passion. And we could just be totally real with each other and just, it felt really connecting. And I think
Mhm.
now more than ever, especially with the different stuff going on in our world and COVID and everything, connection, really just being able to, especially as women, as moms. I know you're a mom of three
Yeah.
daughters.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
for our girls, for our kids, just
Hmm.
bringing in more of that connection, even in the Zoom world, even in this world.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think, you're tapping into something really important, and that's really about finding your true voice
Yeah.
and the authentic part of you. And when you're talking about raising three girls and in this cyber world, and I'd say in the last, for me, last 4 years of launching Empower has been about finding that voice through these different media platforms and but remaining true to me. And I think that when you're looking at a young girl and how formidable they are and how they're so easily influenced by their peers or what they think might be the right direction to move in, um, that they also look at the modeling of us,
Yeah.
right? And one of the most important things is that we can always look at ourselves in the mirror every day and say, huh, I know who I am.
Right.
I'm very clear about who I am. That's my compass because we're not unlike young girls where we see what everybody's doing on all different platforms and we have a choice. How do we want to show up in this world? What is the legacy we are leaving behind for our future generations? And that's actually one of the reasons why I became a coach was about wanting to impact future leaders in the world. And I never really received, I mean, of course, I've had mentors through my career, but I've never really received that hands on, step by step trajectory of how to get there.
Yeah.
And that was really what I wanted to do for women in this world, and actually all people for that matter. But it's been most recently targeted toward women. But yeah, so
Well,
I I think it's important.
yeah, and it's so important. And I love to just going back to when we talked before about, you were in the corporate world and it's like this knowing and this choice to
Hmm.
do what you're doing right now. And I have something underlined that kind of goes with what you're talking about. It says, "It is my passion to bring my wisdom to future generations of women." And you just said that, but it's like I really highlighted that before, prepping before our interview today, because that is so in alignment with the Nourished Girls Project,
Mhm.
and this legacy work, and,
Yes.
empowering and supporting girls to live their joy and
Mhm.
dream and be
Mhm.
confident, confident leaders and kindness activists. And so it's just,
Absolutely.
I love that that is your passion. And it was a choice. You came
Mhm.
from, you worked in corporate for a long time, and then this choice to come here and do what you're doing is just empowering.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that. You know, uh, it's funny you say things a lot of times, but you forget what you say.
Yeah.
But honestly, that it's often because it's not calculated. It's just coming from the heart, right? So in particular to that is, yes, it was a choice. So I had a choice in my life, just like, and it's I've been having this conversation a lot. As you know, I kind of run my own version of a podcast called Opportunity Knocks, and I'm fortunate enough to interview so many different women about their trajectory and how they made choices, right? And I often am reflecting on my own choices as I'm hearing about theirs so present in their story, right? So I've been having this conversation a lot also because I've been rewriting certain parts of my website and reliving the choice of leaving the corporate world and leaving that ego part of myself behind, of knowing that if I stayed in that path, I could be the vice president, EVP, the CMO, who knows, right? I honestly have always believed in myself because my parents have always laid that foundation for me that anything is possible if you believe, right? And leaving there, was a gift because it opened myself up to all these other opportunities. And the true choice of really aligning with me,
Yeah.
of knowing who I am. And if I stayed in corporate America, which could be amazing too, I
Totally.
might not have been able to take that breath to actually have the pause to understand what I really wanted.
Yeah. That's powerful.
Mm,
It
yeah.
really is. It's inspiring and it's powerful. The choice, the
Hmm.
choice. And yeah, and so I guess I would ask you too something that I'm just so curious about.
Yeah.
Since you have three girls and you're in this, work of empowerment
Mhm.
and connection and community and lifting everybody up, how do our girls lift each other up? It's like I can talk from my stance of the founder of the Nourished Girls Project, but I'm so interested in other people's ways, and just thought leaders like yourself. Like, how do our girls lift each other up? How do our moms lift each other up?
Yeah. Well, I think it's really important to meet any friend, acquaintance, colleague, um, any person that you actually come into interaction with. It's about meeting them where they're at. And what does that mean? Um, Listening. So often we are apt to first respond versus listen on a deeper level to what it is that is happening with that person. And listening is the greatest skill related to communication, right? And feeling and tapping into that emotion, right? So, how do we lift each other up? What does support look like for that person? Would be my question.
Yeah.
So, what I might consider support, is different than what you might consider support, than our daughters consider support, right? So, how do they like to be supported? And knowing that really goes into how is that person intrinsically motivated, right?
Yeah.
And that then goes into meeting them exactly where they're at when possible and being present to their inherent gifts. Because again, girls make comparisons, right? And so each person has a gift on the team. Like if I look back to my high school days, or my whole life basically, even today, right, is that I can it's funny, I posted today on Empower LA about community, right? And that community is a community I built in a day at a workshop that I posted, but it's not people that I hang out with every day,
Right.
but it was people that I wanted to make a direct impact on how they chose for their future. It wasn't about me and my ego and me showing up and saying, well, look at all these amazing things. It was more like, what do you need today?
Mm,
So lifting girls up and lifting your friends up comes through listening, it comes through communicating, it comes through sharing like experiences and loving them for all the gifts they bring to the
yes.
table.
Oh, I love that. I love that the gifts you bring,
Mm,
that is because everyone's so different and unique and they
mhm,
bring such different things to the table and their gifts and their, superpowers, whatever you want to call them. I just think that that's wonderful. And listening.
mhm.
Listening
Yeah,
is, especially in our hustle bustle world, busy, 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 task, task, task. It's like to really just drop in and be present
mhm.
and model that and help our girls
Yes.
understand what that means. Even I've interviewed a lot of women about,
Yeah, you've been busy.
I've been busy. And it's like, but the theme is the slowing down, coming to the present moment, the breath. And
Mm,
it's like, it's so important. And so you can apply it into everything we're talking about.
absolutely. And again, teaching and modeling that behavior for our children. What I think is beautiful about nowadays in schools and in organizations like yours
Yeah.
is that we're giving girls these opportunities that we never had. Um, you know, when I worked at certain organizations, uh, actually, I was blessed because there were a lot of women on those teams, but I kept evaluating, why don't women work well together? Like, and in our generation, is that because they're too busy competing against each other? Is it because when in our generation, we weren't taught to work in teams?
Hmm.
We were often in individual sports. And so the listening component, or how do we integrate each other's gifts or strengths, or didn't happen. And I do feel like that is something that our nation is striving for in schools.
Right. Right. Like I think of like my daughter being on like Girls on the Run and like, different organizations that are kind of focusing on all the things,
Yes.
empowerment, how we listen, how we talk to each other. I mean, they're just one of many
Yeah.
things. And then also how we as mothers are taking care of ourselves. And I
Mm,
know that there's a lot of moms listening right now going, I'm wiped. I mean, we're juggling so
exactly.
much stuff. How do I pour into myself to pour into others? And so it's like, even just going back down to that present, take a moment, pause,
Mhm.
and that way we're able to lift each other up a little bit more and,
Yeah.
bring our gifts to community and connection and all of that.
And I think vulnerability is super important. I've been having a lot of conversations around that too with a lot of women because of the perfectionism gene.
Yeah.
And, many women don't ask for help and find it so hard to ask for help. And it's really important. Those skills of being able, that's how we help people,
Yeah.
right? That's how we serve. We serve by asking others for help, right? But if you can't ask people to read your mind, so
Right. And especially sometimes, like, I've had people, they're like, but you seem to, have it all together. You don't probably need any help. I'm like, listen, I'd welcome some brownies any day. You know what I mean? Like, drop on some brownies, you know what I mean? Or however it looks. So I love that vulnerability and asking for help. Because it can be challenging to do that, especially if
yeah,
you're kind of used to doing everything yourself and, all of that. But that's another great thing to model for our girls.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, Michelle, we could talk forever.
Of course
I
you
just,
could.
I thank you so much for being here. Let everyone know where they can find you. And I know you're offering a free gift to our viewers.
Yeah, thanks so much for that reminder. So, on Instagram, first of all, my name is Michelle Valenzuela Wolf. I'm the founder of Empower LA. We're an integrated business and wellness community network. We have a membership that we're actually launching. I do workshops, I do one-on-one coaching, as well as women's groups. And we do that within the community as well as within businesses. So where can you find me? At empower_LA on Instagram. And of course on LinkedIn at Michelle Valenzuela Wolf. And I also have a personal account. It's at Witty Wolf, WITI, Wolf, WOLF. And that's EMPOWHER_LA. And I am offering, because I would love, to me, part of the gift is serving and giving back to young girls or giving back to women. And I'm giving a half-hour free coaching session. And I would love to work with anybody who is in need of clarity. And really my tagline is define your purpose and pursue your path, because we all need to get on the path as women, no matter what that path is, personal, professional, spiritual, and on. So, yeah.
Well, thank you, Michelle. And thank you so much for all your wisdom and just your energy and being here, contributing to this conversation. And thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.